Well, here's a recipe. I'm trying to use up some of the stuff I'm getting out of the garden and come up with different ways to eat it. So what I did is I took one onion, sliced it up into small little pieces, put it in about 3 or 4 tablespoons of canola oil, start that sauteing. Then also I sliced up 1 small green pepper. A few of my green peppers got bad spots on them in the garden, so I picked these off to make way for new green peppers, and just cut the bad spots off and use them. Cut that up into small little pieces as well, put that in with the onion. And then what I did is I took 1 large yellow squash. This is a crookneck. These are a little too big for, well, I don't know, some people think these are too big, but if you can still press it and leave a dent in it with your thumb, it's still fine to use. But these big ones tend to get a lot of seeds, so for this larger portion, I just, first I cut it into about 1/2-inch slices, and then I cut out the seeds from this larger portion and just cube that up into small little bits. And you can see I've got it sauteing. Also what I did is I took some real bacon bits. You can just use regular bacon if you want to fry it up, and put about 3 tablespoons of bacon bits in here. So I've got this all sauteing in the pan. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add this chopped kale to the mix. Now that squash and onion and green pepper has had a chance to cook and brown up a little bit, put the kale in there and stick a lid on it. We want that kale to wilt down. But we just want that kale to wilt, so that's why we covered it. And we wanted the other stuff to be browned a little bit, because once we put the kale in here, it's going to add a lot of moisture, and it's not going to brown any further. Once that kale's wilted down, I'm going to go ahead and give it a little stir, make sure nothing's sticking. We're going to go ahead and add a 15-ounce can of tomato sauce. And a 6-ounce can of tomato paste. And this is simply because I don't have enough sauce. I'm going to use the paste to make the sauce. So what I'll end up doing is adding water. Once I've got it cooked a little bit, and I can see how thick I want the sauce, I can just add as much water as I want to make the sauce as thick as I want. Stir that tomato paste and sauce up real good. Oh yeah, it's starting to look pretty good. Now what I'm going to do is add about a tablespoon of Italian seasoning. Or so. And I'll adjust the seasoning as I go, just like I'll adjust the consistency of the sauce. Add a little more water to thin it out. Add a little more spice to spice it up. Next thing you're going to need is a pot of water. Get that boiling. I'm going to go ahead and add about a cup of water to this sauce and get it boiling. And once it's boiling, we'll just turn it down and let it simmer. Just make sure it doesn't burn. If the tomato sauce seems a little too tart or acidic, you can add just about a teaspoon or so of brown sugar, and that'll sweeten it up and get rid of some of that acidity or tartness. On second thought, I think what I'll do is I'll add some maple syrup to it. kind of nice being able to make your own sugar. You know where it comes from, and surprised or not, sugar is quite a valuable resource. A lot of people would miss it if it wasn't available. Go ahead and give it a taste test. Needs a little more Italian seasoning. And I'm thinking just a little bit more maple syrup. Water's boiling. Go ahead and put this pasta in there. Now this is some special kind of pasta. It's called al dente, and it only takes 3 minutes to cook. Pretty good stuff. And it comes in all kinds of flavors. Just let that boil. I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit of oil just to keep that from foaming up. That pasta's done, so we gotta drain it. Just swap the burners. Put the pasta right back in here where it came from. Give the sauce one last stir, and it tastes mighty good. I'll just pour that right over the pasta. Dinner is served. Just kind of toss that with the pasta. A lot of people serve the pasta separate, and you can do that. It might even be better to do it that way, but this is just the way I've always done it. Mix it all up. Sorry, I'm left-handed, and I don't have any place to put the camera on the right hand side of the stove, so my arm is going to be in the way. I could stir it with my right hand, but I'd be slapping it all over more than I already am. That's it. Looks mighty good. It sure looks good. Let's see how that squash tastes. real hot, for sure. Wow, I impressed myself. It's actually really tasty. And the only meat in there is some bacon bits. Thanks for watching, and thanks for all the comments, and thanks for all the support. Talk to you guys later. Go ahead and give it a shot. See, put your own ingredients in there from the garden. See what you come up with.